He's back. Yeah, I'm thinking he's back. I'm talking about John Wick, Keanu Reeves reprising his role for the third time in this action series franchise that, by far, to me, if this movie doesn't solidify it, I don't know what else can. That, just like in the vein of Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves is one of the best action actors on the planet. Like, the fact of how many stunts that you can obviously tell that it's all him and what he's able to do, combat. I mean, we've seen the past two movies, we've seen like the behind the scenes stuff and the trainings and stuff that he did, but this goes even further. Like, they go into different areas around the world and he's still just murking and it's insane. Like, I got out of the movie and I was like, I legit had a headache. But let's try to break this down. So in terms of the scope and the locations, they go from New York, they go from so many different other locations. I don't want to spoil it, because I mean, there's a lot of other actors that are involved in this. I'll bring some of the cast members up, but the fact is that from the point that the last episode or last movie ended, he's got, a hit on him. Like, he is excommunicado, so that means that he is free reign. $14 million taking this man out. And they spend no expense of, like, the camera angles, the cinematography. There's so many different amazing action moments. And the thing about the action moments is they're filmed well. Like, they really do showcase the capability of physicality and the choreography and the gunplay that, I would say gung fu, that John Wick has been able to do and showcase in the past two movies, and beyond that, because there's triple the amount of guns, there's triple the amount of weapons, and it's like the action is just there. The craziness, though, about this one is what I'll go into more detail about towards the end of this review. In terms of the choreography, oh my gosh, him and Halle Berry do their thing. I looked at a little bit of the behind the scenes for Halle Berry, and she was talking about her training, and she went spend 6 months. I think that Keanu Reeves spent about 8 or 6 too, and it was just like, she was like, this is the most training she's ever done in her life. And it shows, like, when she's going and working with these dogs too, and the amount of time she had to go and devote with that, like, it is amazing. I give her so many accolades for this, because the other part of this is that there's an interaction with her and Keanu Reeves towards the second half of the movie that she really actually gets to act as well. Like, she actually makes a compelling argument and like stance, and I was like, it was very well acted. She took it very seriously. It wasn't like corny. It was actually good acting on top of great performance. This probably might be one of her best performances she's done in the past 5 years at least. Like, it was great action, yes, but there was some really key acted moments, and then there was one standout moment that I was like, this is crazy. She does something towards the end that I was like, what in the world? The other thing is, you got the guy that played, both of the guys that played in The Raid and The Raid Redemption. They were in this movie as well, and they did a really good job. Like, they were efficiently like ninjas, because like the way they were able to go and maneuver, like their style of martial arts, like it was carefully choreographed, very well done. There was one fight towards the third act that I personally feel like they, how do I put this? They undersold it. Not that they didn't do what they did, but it was kind of just like, I was like, they could have killed this person, like, for real. Like, it was even like kind of played at towards the end. I was like, they could have really just killed this person, like, between both of them. But then let's go into like the story. So the story this time around, again, like, he's excommunicado, but at the same time, you got Ian McShane, Lawrence Fishburne, the guy that also runs the Continental as well, who is like kind of the other guy, and they all have more to chew on. They all have more to do, more to act with. Lawrence Fishburne has this what I would call Matrix moment, not in the way that you think. There's definitely a lot of references to other Keanu Reeves movies that I really loved. Ian McShane does a really good job in this one. Like, he actually really gives him some really dope lines, and he's actually written pretty well. The antagonist in this one, last time I seen him, this is a really good martial artist, was in, I think, Cradle to the Grave. He does a really good job. Great stunt work, great action. I think they make his character not as menacing as I would have liked, because they kind of play with certain dabbling motivations. Whereas like with Common in the second movie, I was behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I get it. I get where he's going with this. But I think that all the villains, aside from the first villain, have been kind of weak here or there. But there's deeper things that are at work, because again, John Wick is having to survive by any means necessary. And it's like they push him to so many different levels that you wouldn't expect, and at the same exact time, like, the lengths that he has to go is kind of like, is this really our hero kind of thing. And it's very interesting towards the third act. I really didn't know where things were going to go. I don't think that the ending was kind of anticlimactic, but I do think that they kind of undercut it. Just because, I mean, even the fights weren't as what I thought, but the gunfights, any fight with a gun or on a vehicle were perfection. Like, for real. Like, anytime you see, like, especially towards the end, it was just like insane. I think that some of the action moments were just so much that I can't even pinpoint a specific action moment. There was moments where you can see this in the trailer, Keanu Reeves on horseback, you can see him on motorcycle, you can see him like hand-to-hand combat. Like, there's this one moment where they're in a museum towards the beginning, and it was just like in your face, insane. Like, everybody in the theater was just screaming and yelling, just like, this is insane. So I just thought it was a really great action, bring you back to the 90s form of action. But I think that on the tail end story, I think it could have been a little bit better. They do expand the mythos pretty well. They do expand certain things pretty well. But I think I wanted a little bit more, how do I put this? Not that he didn't go through a lot, but I feel like I wanted to see him progress a little differently. I guess that's the best way of kind of putting it without spoiling anything. But I do think you're going to have a great time with this. I think you're going to have a ball with all the actions going on. I think that Keanu Reeves and Halle Berry, they just sell it. Keanu just owns his role. Again, shout out to all those that are a part of that are new or old. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I actually really did enjoy it. And if you look at each one of these movies back to back to back to back, you're going to feel really desensitized, and you might need to like intermission in between. But you can literally look at it, it's like, this is amazing action. This is what the Expendables wanted to be. Like, for real, for real. And this is definitely showcased that this is one of the best action franchises ever. Like for real. Like, as far as like natural, like really choreographed and realistic gunplay, hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, whatever you want to call it, is in this one, and you're gonna love it. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll talk to you guys a bit later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Definitely go and check out John Wick 3 Parabellum. I enjoyed it. You will too. Peace, guys.